Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a video about my amazing weekend at Universal. I was invited as part of the media to go to the celebration of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, where they were celebrating all of the Harry Potter movies. And my plus one was my mom, so it was really nice because she's never been to the parks, and well, she's been to the park. She never been to the Harry Potter park, I should say, and she liked it a lot. It was very crowded because it was Veterans Day weekend, so it was really nice. We went for free because we basically went in the park and went to the Harry Potter section. Waited 45 minutes in line for the Forbidden Journey ride. We got to go on that twice because we did a VIP park tour, so we got to skip the line the second time, which is very nice. Um, got some butter beers, which is nice because we got to relax. Our feet were so tired. So the event started at 8:30, or was supposed to start. We got these passes when we went at guest services, and they were really nice because they were big and it said media on it. So we had a little 5-second giggly moment of, oh my gosh, this is really awesome. Like, we were on the other side of the fence. Like, we're it's something I've always wanted to do. Over the summer I heard about this and about the event, and I was just like, I really want to go, but it's so much money. And so I put it out of my mind because it was just one of those things where, oh, you'll never get to do it. But I did. And we got to walk on the red carpet. Here's a picture of us. We have just our feet. But we asked the guy with the clipboard, okay, like, where do we stand? Because they had all the camera people on one end, like right at the beginning where they would be walking in, and then they had like the photographers, and then they had like all the journalism, like magazine, newspaper people, all the way at the end of the line, like the end, um, which was actually right next. We were facing Honeydukes, and it was very squished because they along the edge of the red carpet they had the name, like little name tags on paper of who was, like, people representing what, and they didn't have my school newspaper, the Oracle, so they were just like, just stand at the end because you have this pass, so obviously you were invited. But so I went to stand at the very end, and I was like, I'm squished between all these people. So Evanna Lynch was the first to show up. She finally showed up at like 9 o'clock. Not just her, but everyone, because the celebrities were supposed to walk on the red carpet by 8:30, but they didn't really till like later. So it started for me at 9 o'clock, and then her and Dumbledore, Dumbledore something, Bill Weasley, he also came by, and he walked like right past us, and we're like, okay, so I guess we're not going to get to talk to them. And it turns out that they were like flipping people around on the carpet because, some of the Harry Potter cast, they had to talk to the TVs, so they couldn't be at two places at once. So like they would go back and then they come back over to us. Um, I didn't get to talk to Luna till later, but Nick Moran came. If you don't know who that is, his name is Scabier, and he is in part one of Deathly Hollows. He is a snatcher. Um, he came by, and we were kind of in a rush, like, oh, like, I didn't know what to talk, like, what to ask him. So he was starting to sign things, so I had him sign my camera. Obviously, it's starting to come off. If I rub it more, it probably will, but you know what? His autograph is there. Um, yeah, and some people are like, why did you get your camera signed? And he turned away from me, and he's just like, oh, that's a first, like, a camera? I don't know. But anyway, um, so he came by, and then the rush, it was like the gates open, and ton of the people came. It was amazing. I have pictures up on Facebook. But, let's see. It was so natural. It was so surreal because I've been such a huge fan of these books and movies. I can't remember exactly what age I started reading them. I think it was around 10, maybe 9, but I think 10 for sure that I started getting into these books. So I'm 19 now, and that's like almost half my life that I've been so involved with these books. And I mean, I've read the whole series at least 5 times. One of my favorite people interviewing was Mark Williams. He plays Mr. Weasley, and he was so nice. Like, he was really cool and he was funny. He took a lot of time to talk to me and, like, other people as well. They were all really nice because since I was, like, the bottom of the chain, and they would go to each individual person and talk to them, and that was so nice. And um, Mark Williams, he's really cool. I told him that Mr. Weasley was my favorite character, and like he kind of was like, giving that impression of like, oh, you're just saying that to me because I'm a celebrity or like because I'm here. And I was like, no, like I really like your character. And he's like, would you swear an oath? And I was like, yes, I would do that right now because I love Mr. Weasley. He may not be okay. He may not be, my number one favorite character, but he's way up there because he is just like a father to Harry, and he's so funny how he likes the muggles, and when he talks about rubber ducks and outlets, and he was just so cool. I like him. I can't remember the order of people I met. I met, oh, like, um, Warwick Davis was pretty cool. I didn't really talk to him too long, so I just like asked him a quick question, like how long it took him to be in makeup, because he was Griphook and Professor Flitwick, and and how long it took to shoot those scenes. Um, I also talked to Seamus Finnegan. His real name is Devin Murray, and he's really cool. Like he's kind of cute. He's short as well. He's at least 2 inches shorter than me, I would say. But he was nice. He was kind of funny. He said I overheard him talking to someone else about how he is. That he would say he's 100% like Seamus Finnegan. How he's like just loyal and good with his friends. And I was saying, well, in the fifth book slash movie, he was kind of like really mean to Harry. Well, not mean, but like he kind of like made the scene of my grandmother thinks you're crazy. I do too. These papers are saying that you and Dumbledore are lying. And so I asked him that. I was like, well, there was that scene where like Seamus kind of had that. He kind of turned his back on Harry. It's like, would you still relate to that? And he gave a good answer. He was just saying something like how, like it's just, a mistake. And, he did go back to being friends with Harry, but it was just a little mistake, and everyone makes mistakes. So, we're not perfect. Um, I also talked to Dean Thomas. I had an embarrassing moment. I was so embarrassed because, like, okay, I don't watch the movies often. I've probably seen them all like 3 times, like like in my life because besides seeing it in the movie theater and then seeing it on DVD, because I just prefer watching. I prefer reading the books. So when I got to him or when he got to me, I was just like, so in the books, like there's a lot more. There's more extended scenes about Dean Thomas and Ginny. I was like, it's a shame. I had a slip of the tongue. I was like, it's a shame that you don't get to see that in the movies. And he's like, really? And I was like, oh no, like I forgot they do mention it in the movies, but it's so brief. Like they're kind of just like in the I can't remember what movie, fifth or sixth. They're just like, oh, Dean Thomas is going out with Ginny, and Harry is jealous. So I was just like blushing like mad. I don't know if you could see me like blushing, but like I was staring up at him because he's so tall, and I was just so red, and I was like, I can't believe I'm like this fan, and I made this mistake. Oh, but he was like smiling at me the whole time, kind of like kidding around, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like so yeah, like would you have liked that there would have been more scenes on that? And he's like, yeah, of course, I talked to the producers. I didn't get to talk to David Heyman, but I talked to, I don't want to mess up his name, but his last name is Baron, and he was really cool. I asked him more like about expanding the movies because they're all short, and I heard him talk about before. I've heard him before say how they almost made Goblet of Fire, which is the fourth book slash movie, into like 2 parts, and he was just saying how there was a lot he wished he could have put in, but he was at he no he actually said he was pretty happy with the way the movies turned out. He stayed away from some things like Hermione's spew, um, because it wasn't relevant to the plot. Like they wanted everything relevant to the plot to just go. But I like when I after he left, I was like, why didn't I ask him about Peeves? Because Peeves, he's not relevant, but he's a character that a lot of people like at least. Well, not like, but they think he's funny. I talked to David Yates. I asked about the Dumbledore's funeral scene. Why was it cut? Because as it turns out, he said it was just too expensive. They didn't have the money for that. Um, it was just that, it was so extravagant. Even though in the book it's not that long, it's like more detailed. Like everyone was there, the mer people, the giants, the centaurs. Well, not the giants, but Hagrid and his half giant and his half brother, that's a giant brother. They were there. Um, and like a lot of the wizarding people, that knew Dumbledore respected him came. So it was just too expensive. If it was like a short, simple scene, then yeah, they would have put it in. But and then I mentioned, how in the sixth movie that was pretty big. When he's in the cave, when Harry is in the cave with Dumbledore, um, and there's all that fire, and he was talking about how it's kind of hard to shoot that scene because it was a green screen. Yeah, it wasn't in a real cave. Um, and they like when Dumbledore, they would walk away or walk around on the rocks, their feet would kind of make this squishing, sucking noise from like the water on the rocks. But it was a good scene, and I told him I thought that was done pretty well. I mean, it looked hard to make. Who else? I talked to Mr. Filch, David Bradley. He was also in Game of Thrones, if you watch that show, and he was really cool. I like talking to him. It was really neat because I mean, here's this character that like he stuck through it. I mean, he was from the first book, and you see him in every book. Maybe not he's not a major character, but I say he was a pretty I don't know important, not important, but he was he's pretty involved. That's the word in the books at least. So that was nice. I talked to Cho Chang, Katie Leung, that's her real name, and I asked her about Pottermore, and she's on it. Got early access, but she said that she's just at the part where she's at Diagon Alley, and she's excited to be sorted. She pretty much is like, oh, I only want to be, she's excited like being Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, or Slytherin. And another interviewer that's from UCF, they're like, oh yeah, because there's only three houses, and they were just saying Hufflepuff, and I was like, hey, I'm in Hufflepuff, and they were like, oh, like I and Katie Lung was like, I didn't just say that, because it's kind of like I caught her dissing Hufflepuff, but because like I have to represent. When I was at the park earlier, there was no one wearing a Hufflepuff scarf. Okay, I saw at least one Ravenclaw, and then there's mostly like the Gryffindor and Slytherin scarves. So I was like, hey, Hufflepuff, represent. Um, I'm proud to be a Hufflepuff. I mean, I'm loyal. Okay, I am loyal, and I'm a hard worker sometimes, but I'm a hard worker, and it's a good house. Um, so that's all I have to say on my Hufflepuff rant. I talked to Evanna Lynch. I can't remember what I talked to her about, but I did. I have it recorded, so I'll be typing that up later. Let's see. And then finally, the Weasley twins, they were kind of like right there after I saw Rupert Grint. But I saw them, but I didn't get to talk to them because since they came out like 30 minutes late, everything was 30 minutes behind schedule, so they kind of had to go. But I snatched Rupert Grint up before he had to leave. He talked to someone, and I was like, Rupert! Or maybe I called him wrong, but he came over, and I talked to him. I was asking, how did it feel that you know, they keep saying that it's over, even though it's not really over. But as for the cast, I mean, it's pretty much over because they finished filming the movies. But I asked, like, how does it feel to be told it's over and then you come to events like these? Because it's got to be hard. I mean, you have to go through this process, accepting that you're not going to be continuing these roles and, getting over it, trying to move on with their life. And then, bam, hey, Rupert, you want to come to this event? It's going to have other people from the Harry Potter cast. Yeah, sure, it's like, how do you feel about that? And, um, yeah, you can check out my answer when I have it online. And then right after Rupert, I was lucky enough to get to see Jason Isaacs. Um, my mom is really excited. She thinks he's a good-looking guy, and yeah, he's okay. Some of my friends do too, Yvonne. But yeah, his agent was kind of like, wrapping it up quick because he had to leave. And I was like, I'm going. I was like, can I get a question? And she's like, yeah. Make it quick. So I just talked to him really quickly, and then I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And he's like, "Yeah," because you ask the actor for a picture. You do not ask for their agent because if you do, their agent is gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, he has to go," but the actor, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, because he doesn't know what's going on." So he got a picture, and that was my amazing night. They had free food afterwards, which was cool, but they were kind of rushing because um, there was this ceremony that was going a closing ceremony and where they all got on the stage after they had some people sing, and it was cool because me and my mom were waiting, and my mom went and she asked these guys next to a whole bunch of empty butterbeer cups, like, "Hey, can I get one for my water?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." So they gave her, those souvenir cups that you pay like $15 for? Yeah, we got two for free. Um, and earlier when we were waiting in line, we got a free butterbeer. They like kept coming around, like, "Do you want a butterbeer? Do you want a butterbeer?" And that I wish I could replay that night and just get those free butterbeers because my mom took one and we shared it, and I like had to like chug the rest of it, and we were keeping that so we would have three in the end. Yeah, that was my amazing night. I will be having an article about it soon. If you have some questions, more about it, because there was a lot more people I saw, then just feel free to shoot me a comment or a message, and just enjoy some 2, 3 pictures. Yeah, see you later.
The last 10 years, there's only one thing I've known for sure, and that's where I'd be sorted.